and welcome to another edition of Health Matters, a presentation by the Ministry of Health. I'm glad that you could be with us on our program. It's this time of the year, and it's the festive time of the year when there's lots of shopping, but mostly eating and drinking. I've got with me in the studio Ms. Dainty Conway, Director of the Food Policy Division of the Ministry of Health, and Decola Gittins, a Community Nutritional Officer in that department. Ladies, welcome. And let me take the opportunity of wishing you and your department season greetings.
Thanks so much
Good.
for having us here.
All right. There's going to be lots of things to eat, lots of things to drink, and partying and so forth. But people should take stock in what they're going to consume for this year. Everything will go through the window. People are going to clean out their houses, have new things, and yet still attempt to eat bad. Tell us some do's and don'ts at this time of the year.
So, yes, Nazem, we know that we're talking on deaf ears right now because it's a festive season. And one, as you said, synonymous with Christmas is eating a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Because how we celebrate by having a lot of food and family around. And so, but our job at the Ministry of Health, especially food policy, is to, be there to guide you on even during this month. Mm-hmm. So even though we know that you'll be overdoing it, there's no doubt about that. There's always extra. Usually during the year, you don't see things like ham in the supermarket, but now you have hams, turkeys, the most meat you can ever find, the most cookies you can find. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we can try to watch our portions, give some tips on, if you're going to parties, and so how you can not overeating to the extent where you're so full, you're laughing the next day and saying, we had a nice time yesterday. And so, but really and truly next year, a few months from now, you can feel the effects of doing these overeating, drinking too much alcohol, etc. You're going to feel the effects of that next year. So we want to just guide you this month, not to be so, don't overdo that much. Yes.
And Ms. Gittins, what are some of the areas people who are going to splurge they could look at and try to build some sort of, not resistance, so to speak, but to have that discipline in, how to approach the lunch table, the brunch table, or the dinner table, or the Christmas party.
Good. Well, what we would advise persons to do, like Ms. Conway said, when you're going out, make healthier food choices. One thing we encourage our listening and viewing public to do is, like, when you're invited to a family function and so on, you make a healthy meal or an healthy snack, and you take that. So when you get there, you have a healthy choice to pick from. Another thing is try to watch your portion sizes. We know that it's a lot and so on, but like Ms. Conway said, in 2 to 3 months from now, we are going to feel the effects of it. And when we're talking about the effects of it, we're talking about becoming overweight, having a high BMI. And being overweight puts you at risk for developing several chronic complications like diabetes, high blood pressure, you can get high cholesterol and so on. And those things are very devastating for you and your loved ones, right? So we want persons to have healthy food choices. When the meals are laid out and so on, pick whole grain and high fiber products. Like in Guyana, we have the famous pepper pot and bread. That's a must Christmas time. So what we encourage persons to do is, like, when you're going to have the bread, instead of using the regular white flour, you use the whole wheat flour. So you have your pepper pot that you love, and you also have a healthy choice using the whole wheat or the high fiber flour.
Is there anything you could think of that can go with pepper pot without that bread? I mean, years ago, and I've tasted it, but you can't have pepper pot and rice for breakfast. Cassava the cassava
Exactly.
bread. How would that work as it compares to regular bread?
Well, remember, in Guyana we have different regions. Everybody, like in the interland regions, they use a lot of cassava bread and so on. So we can go for that. If it is to your likeness, then you can have your cassava bread. But here on the coast, most of us pepper pot and bread. But most of the time, we realize that persons go for the white flour. So, and with the whole wheat flour also, we wouldn't be able to use a lot of it. Like you can't use out like 4 slices of the whole wheat bread, whereas you can use like 6, 7 slices of the white bread. So you use less and you feel fuller when you use your high fiber and whole wheat products. Another thing, we tend to pass on the salads and so on, like the garden salads and so on, the stir fries. Go for that. It gives you a feeling of fullness, so you wouldn't have to overindulge on the ham and the pickled pork and the garlic pork and so on.
Right, we're talking meals at this time of the year. It's Christmas time with the Food Policy Department of the Ministry of Health. Stay with us. We have more for you after the break.
What does a healthy plate look like? It's made up of whole grains, healthy protein, vegetables, and fruits. Let's start with whole grains. Eat a variety of whole grains like whole wheat bread, whole grain pasta, and brown rice. Avoid those refined grains like white rice and white bread. Healthy protein. Choose fish, poultry, beans, and nuts, limiting red meat, cheese, and avoiding processed meats like bacon. Fruits and vegetables. Eat a variety of fruits and more green and other colored vegetables daily. They provide a variety of nutrients, antioxidants, and fiber, which build the immune system, prevent obesity, and promote healthy, youthful skin. Use more organic seasonings and less salty products like aji cubes and packet or bottled seasonings when preparing meals. And lastly, stay hydrated. Drink at least 8 cups or pints of water daily. Tea and natural fruit juices are great options. Avoid sugary foods and sweetened beverages. Eat well, keep moving. A message from the Ministry of Health Chronic Disease Unit.
Welcome back. We're talking to Ms. Dainty Conway and Decola Gittins from the Ministry of Health. That's the Food Policy Division. Both of you mentioned portions, and of course, you would see certain plates. I mean, it's okay. We don't have much of those in Guyana, buffet restaurants, but you would see some people's plate at a staff party, or if at home, and you'd want to know where did that come from, as the case may be. It's all part of the season of giving back and doing good to make sure everybody's happy. But portions, tell us a bit more. What should be people eat, especially with one big meal, and and what time should we really, if we have to, eat this big meal?
So for in Guyana, we definitely overeat, right? Because when you look at the portions of meat and so that you're supposed to have at a time, it's like 4 ounces. So 4 ounces would be, if you can imagine like a stack of cards, a pack of cards. That's the size of the meat product, whether it's beef, pork, chicken, fish, that you're supposed to be eating at one time, right? But when we go, even though we don't have a lot of buffets, when we go to a restaurant or a fast food outlet, or anywhere, when they give us the food, we don't want to see 4 ounces, on the plate. You'd be like, what am I really paying you for? You're robbing me. So they put a lot of rice, which is like half of the box, a big piece of like quarter. So it's like, that's like 8 ounces. And that's at every meal, we're overeating that. So at breakfast, we eat like 3-4 slices of bread, which the average adult supposed to be having like 2,000 calories, right? That's not to lose weight nor to gain weight. That's to maintain our energy. So that would be like 2 slices of bread with, if you're eating egg and your cup of juice or whatever in the morning. So if for instance you're going to a party, just visualize, how much, if I'm taking out, if they're serving pepper, if it's a brunch, visualize how much meat. So 4 ounces would be like half of the palm of my hand. So you take out like three pieces of the meat, with some of the gravy, and you're maybe as Nicola said, if they have whole wheat options, and I know a lot of places in Guyana are being health conscious now, so they're giving you that option, gluten free and whole wheat. So you you try to take. Remember, your body takes like 20 minutes after you've ate to feel full. So you don't wait till you're feeling full to stop eat. The amount that you're supposed to eat, when you finish eating that 20 minutes down, is then when you start to feel that fullness, right? So you have to work with your body and be conscious of it. And the thing is, they have some people who would eat a lot of food and you don't see the overweight. So overweight is a problem in Guyana for sure, and obesity, but you don't see those people gaining weight because they're, however their body is made. But inside now, we don't know what's happening inside. Cholesterol is high, you're having clogged, you can have a heart attack, you could have, they call high blood pressure, they call those silent killer, because you could just drop down from high blood pressure because of the content of the food. You're eating high salt, high sugar, those kind of things. Really and truly, if you go and do your blood test and so, then you can see what's happening inside. So all these unhealthy things, and there's a reason it's called unhealthy, is really bad for you, and in the accumulation that we do in Guyana. So all the hams that are highly salted, the turkeys and the meats and so, and we're adding alcohol to that, right? So when you add that other element, all those harmful things, we're saying harmful at the Ministry of Health as if it's just another word. But if Guyanese really think about it and look at the news, you can see the effects of these things. When you say somebody's diabetic, I think sometimes people take it for granted that, she's diabetic, she got high sugar. When you see what this person has to go through, the amount of tablets they drink, and if, they have to take care of their feet so that it doesn't get injured, because if it gets injured, it doesn't heal quickly. And we need to be really, really conscious of our own body that we have to take care of, even though what we're saying, to know your limit, know to yourself that you don't drink so much, don't eat so much unhealthy stuff. We have a lot of fruits and vegetables, beautiful in Guyana. Try to take advantage of those things more than the unhealthy options.
Ms. Gittins, Ms. Conway mentioned sugar.
Yeah.
Let's talk about sugar. So after you eat the pepper pot, the roast pork, and all of these things, you go for the black cake, the chocolate cake, the fruit cake, the sponge cake, ice cream, sorrel drink, cookies, milkshake, all of that you have. What is happening there?
Well, we're filling up our bodies with a lot of calories. When we fill up with a lot of calories and we don't burn them, we don't exercise, and when it's Christmas time, everybody just gets...
You're right. Nobody's at the gym right now.
No, nobody's at the gym, right? So you have the extra calories there. It is not burned, so it turns into fat. And like Miss Conway said, we can have blocked arteries, we can suffer from a heart attack, we can die. So what we want persons to do as it relates to the amount of sugars, right? Try as much as possible to use our local fruits to make your fruit juices. Like the sorrel is famous at Christmas time, right? But instead of adding so much sugar to it, we try at work to take the sweet fruits and blend it so it has that natural sweetness. You don't need the artificial
So you make a sort of
flavor.
a punch.
Yes, right? And you can add your spices and so on to flavor it up nice, and you use it ice cold, right? Try to stay away from the frizzy drinks, the soft drinks and so on, because those are loaded with sugars, right? Like the famous Coca-Cola, right? A small Coca-Cola, how many teaspoons of sugar we have in that? It's like 16
That's 36 grams per serving.
It's like 16 teaspoons of sugar.
And that's what you're allowed per day, right?
Right?
36 grams.
36 for men, 28 for women, which
Right.
is 6 teaspoons. But this has way over.
Way over. You wouldn't sit at a table and just eat 16 teaspoons of sugar. Nobody would do that, I hope.
The push for water.
Water. We are in a tropical country, right? We know it's a rainy season now on, but try to have a lot of water, right? They are these nice bottles, these encouraging bottles that you can fill up and you walk with it on the go, and it reminds you when to take your water. You can take some at 6 o'clock, you take another at 7, and so on until you finish that. But try to have a lot of water. And two, if you use your local fruits, they have water inside, like the watermelon, right? It's loaded with water. So you can, if you don't drink the liquid water, you can have that. And it gives you this sweet feeling, because I know a lot of persons don't drink the water because it's bland. We all like tasting nice things, right? Or you put your local fruits in your water, so it gives it that flavor. It encourages you to drink more water.
Ms. Conway, children, they're just like the ants. They're attracted to sugar. And what can we tell parents at this time, at least when they're going shopping? I mean, instead of buying, what is there for children, and what can you advise parents how to, work with children at this time of the year?
So, we would encourage, as she said, to make your local drink, have your juices, and when you blend it and make it into that fruit punch, and you put it in your nice bottle for them, it's attractive.
But this shouldn't be Christmas time alone.
No, this shouldn't. Of course not. This should definitely not be at Christmas. Even throughout the year, when they're going to school, things like that. All of the imported juices and so have extremely high amounts of sugar. Even though the children are more active than adults, it's still not good for them to have that habit of drinking something processed all the time. So you make your own fruit juices and incorporate the water into it. You make it cold, you put mint leaves, cucumbers, all of those. You see, when you train them from young, they grow up knowing that. But if the first thing you introduce to them is a box juice when they start as toddlers to give them, that's what they're going to get accustomed to. But if you start giving them this infused water, just water, or your homemade juices, that's what they're going to get accustomed to. And the other thing about water too is that we usually drink when I'm so thirsty, I'm going to drink now. You've already been dehydrated. So that's what she said. You sip during the day so you don't feel that dehydration. Now you want something more attractive, like a soft drink or a juice. If you're sipping all day, you wouldn't feel that thirst come on suddenly, in this hot weather.
And more advice to parents and children?
Yes. As a parent myself, one of the things that I go by, if it's not in the home, you wouldn't see it, you wouldn't want it, right? So like these hard candies and a lot of sweets and so on, don't buy them. The money that you're going to invest in that, invest it in your fruits and your vegetables and let them have them. Cut the vegetables in nice shapes, because the vegetables, have bright colors and so on. Take, for instance, your carrots. You make carrot sticks and so on, and you give that to them. If they don't have the hard candies and the sweets and all the cookies and so on at home, they wouldn't crave for it. And as Miss Conway said, if it's not introduced at an early age, it wouldn't be a bother to them because they are accustomed to eating healthy.
All right. So we'll be talking with Ministry of Health and Food Policy Division. We've got a final segment coming up, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Exercise in your 40s seems trivial, but you need it now more than ever. The body starts to decline after 30, and that decline gets more aggressive every year. But exercise slows that decline, helping you prevent some common health conditions. To stay happy, healthy, and looking as great as you feel in your 40s, try these. To prevent heart disease, try cardiovascular workouts. It's a heart-pumping exercise that will keep your heart muscles strong. Ward off osteoporosis by adding a light jog into your walking workout to keep your bones strong. To fight arthritis, even in its tracks, strength training has been proven to decrease joint pains. Women between ages 45 and 64 have an increased risk of depression, and yoga reduces stress and regulates mood. Back pain becomes common as we get older, so try holding a basic plank for 90 seconds. Life's a little sweeter over 40. Eat well, keep moving. A message from the Chronic Disease Unit of the Ministry of Health.
Right, welcome back to our final segment. We're talking to Ms. Dainty Conway and Nicola Gittins from the Food Policy Department of the Ministry of Health. It's Christmas time, and Guyanese will be on a splurge to eat and drink and be merry, but we still have to do our health checking up. And just to let you know also that we still have COVID-19 with us. We're encouraging all Guyanese, if you have not yet taken your booster shot, please visit your nearest health center so that you can be boosted. So let's come back to the Christmas meal. And then, parents, adults, everybody's going to tell you, it's only Christmas time, it's this time of the year, and we're going to go back to normal, but we never go back to normal because guess what? We seem to be a population that we now buy food in the street, and we don't know what is being cooked, what is being leftovers, what is being brought forward as a case may be. But let's quickly talk about that famous food that we eat, pepper pot, which we know is supposed to be boiling and so forth. But sometimes when that now becomes cold, it changes. What happens here?
Yeah, so overnight, a lot of the oils would raise. So we try to skim that off, right, in the morning before we reheat, skim it off, and then reheat because of the amount of meat that is in the pepper pot. A lot of oils, obviously, because fatty meats we put in the cow heel, the pork with skin, and those things like that. So a lot of the natural oils from those meat will be present. So even when we skim it off, there's still oils and so in it, but at least that for our visual purpose, we take that off. One of the tips about Christmas too and overeating is we know everybody, the Acola, whoever else will cook pepper pot. So if we know the Acola invited us over, don't eat your breakfast pepper pot at home. Wait until you go by her and indulge in hers. You try to minimize your eating like that. So if I eat my whole breakfast and then the Acola invite me and I still eating, if she said she cooking a boss pepper pot this year and I know I can try it, I can get some from she. So try to work smart when we're because there's so many things out there. We have to really, really try to work smart to take care of our bodies. Right?
And sometimes you go by the cola, and not only with the pepper pot, she's gonna get sauce,
Something
black
else.
pudding, stuffed egg,
Exactly.
and so forth.
And some cookies.
And some cookies
Exactly.
with the ginger beer from the Fizzy company, not from the one that you
Exactly,
boil,
not the one that I
as the case may be. The bread, we'll eat it by button bread, but some of us have the habit of, dab a bit of margarine in it and, make sure it's nice and soft and moist and so forth. Good or bad?
Bad. Bad. Remember, there's a lot of fat in the pepper pot of itself.
Right.
And what we need to remember, that fat, that white thing that we see that, most persons said, the pepper pot is sleeping, we gotta heat it up to wake it up, and then they just, everything is there. That fat, what we want persons to realize is the bad fat. Right? So we don't need it in our bodies. Right? So if you already have that fat, like Miss Conway said, in the morning, so when you get up and so on, you take off that fat, you throw it away because that's the bad fat. So when you have your bread now and you put more margarine, and let's say you did not take off the fat from the pepper pot, right? And then you eat that, and then we don't exercise, and then we consume alcohol during the day, right? And that goes on for 12 days or more. Right? So it's just telling you what it can be doing to our bodies, or what it will be doing to our bodies. And come 2023, we still want a healthy Guyana. We want a healthy nation.
The whole idea, and she mentioned it just now, how do we now, you always hear those experts, even out in and out of Christmas, that as soon as you eat a meal, go and take a walk. And then, you go back to your desk or you go back home. Exercise. Tell us quickly about that.
Oh, so in fact, we're supposed to be exercising for at least 30 minutes daily. And this is not women saying, I do housework, and so does that. Your heart rate is supposed to be much higher than your resting rate, right? So every single day, you're supposed to put in that time to exercise vigorously. So walk around your block, skip in your yard, ride your bicycle. If you go to gym, well, that's fine. But every day, it's supposed to be ingrained in us, like we drink water, like we breathe the air. But I know a lot of people say they don't have the time, but you find time for every single thing else except that. And that is very, very important. And exercise, not just to lose weight. It's not, oh, I'm gaining weight, so I want to exercise. It has to be, it's for your heart, because your heart is a muscle. It needs that vigorous activity. Because now that we're developing and we have, a lot of women are working and have desk jobs, and so we've become a lot more sedentary. And we have cars and so to take us everywhere. So we need to incorporate that into our daily life.
Yes, all of our equipment and machineries are smart, except us. Have smart watches, smart TVs,
Exactly.
smartphones, smart everything. And so exercise.
Yes. Like Ms. Conway said, 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes every day.
Right. Ladies, thanks for being on our program on health matters. We've been talking to the director of the food policy unit of the Ministry of Health and community and nutritional officer, Jacola Gittins. We're talking about what to do and what not to do in this time of the year. On behalf of all of us at the Ministry of Health, the Education Department, the PR Department, and all the other departments, we take this opportunity to wish you and yours a very, very happy holidays. And please, please, please be safe. Do join me again next time. And until that time, stay well.